Hey, Lucky. Oh no, it's still far away. We should dodge it then. That should be good. Looks like it'll be alright. That's good. Good. Hopefully it don't fucking come here. That's good. Hopefully it does not come here. Hallelujah. Let's hope that forecast is right. Let's hope that is right. Hopefully. Big assholes too. Shit. Turbines. Not bad. That was a big snap. Pretty cool. Not bad. Hey, Monique. Good morning. How you doing? That's cool. Jenny. It's always it. Major brothers McDonald. That shit was hilarious. It's not on the rap. It's on the rest of it. Forget the script. The kick out. It's their fault. Exactly. Yeah. That's I believe it's proof. Yep. Dumbass people. Oh well. That's what happens. Oh well. Oh well, well. So I tell people all the time, nothing's perfect. Get over it. Nothing's perfect, and get over it. Because sometimes it ain't gonna go right. It's just life. It ain't shit right. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. That's who we are. Oh, that's a good game. I wonder if Conrad's playing. Nope. Not yet. Let me see. Oh, he just came on. 12 minutes left. So the same thing's happening too. Okay, Monique. Shift. Good, I hope so. What is this person talking about here? I hope this damn hurricane doesn't hit the United States and Bermuda. Fucking better not. The Bermuda's not even in this little window here, so I wonder if. Yeah, see, it's not even close. That's good. Looks like we're gonna be safe so far. But then again, it says that we're in the red zone there, 70 or 80 miles an hour. I doubt it. Who the fuck comes up with these stupid ass models anyway? These people are whack. Let me see what this is. Right, so what are you talking about? This guy's talking about we're gonna get all that, but then the thing shows something different. Oh, good lord. These people talk to hear themselves. What a bunch of idiots. Good night, Lucky. shit. Oh, well. Mm-mm-mm. These people are so stupid. Like, how the fuck could you say stupid ass shit like that? Some of these people are really dumb. Oh, Lord. Another weirdo. Oh, wow. The weirdos are coming out of there. Wow. Funny, some people, they have like the weirdest people ever in their like chat rooms and shit. So weird. All day, every day. Oh my God. People must be like, yay. Oh, wow. I am trying I like to see me then. Trying to what? These fucking people are crazy. Oh boy. What the fuck? Oh boy. I've heard it all. Oh boy. Oh boy. Can't believe how many weird fucking people there is in this world. Like, there is some really weird ass people. I'm talking about like super weird. Beyond weird. Like, there is no explanation. It's just like, you can't get any weirder than that. I seriously don't understand how people can be so weird. Like, that shit makes no sense. Like, I really don't get it. That's weird ass people. Weird people. People be coming into certain people's chat rooms and like just randomly just like talking like the stupidest shit in the world. It don't make no sense to me. I just don't get it. Like, these people come in these rooms and they just talk some random shit, and then they actually like pay you for their attention, and then you do what they want, and then it's like, who are you people? Who the fuck are you people? People be whack as fuck. I don't know. Some really weird people. I just don't get it. People say like, that is fucking crazy. Let me see what they say. Exactly, I agree. Yeah, the ref should have just counted. Yeah, exactly. If you don't kick out, then you have to count to three. That don't make no sense. Now it looks even more fixed. That's pretty sad. Oh well. Should have just counted it anyway. That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh well. Let me see what this guy says. I'm counting out loud for one thing, so they can hear it. A lot of times, I will say kick out when I get down there, so they know to kick out because sometimes guys forget. In our defense, because people say they don't kick out count three. Well, if you if you know that's not the finish, then say you're good at the swipe. It's not real, it makes it so much more difficult to do that. Either we're going to count all the time, or we just then don't kick out and try to fix it somehow. No, it's kind of dumb. Cool. Hey, Mystical, how you doing? Okay, Monique, that's good. Glad you're home. Just over here looking at some Facebook posts of some whack ass people, crazy people in the world, wondering how people have a brain or if it even works. Most likely the answer is no, it doesn't work. It just sits in their head. You're stupendous. That's good. Good to hear. I'm good. It's been a good morning so far. I went to take my nephew to his volleyball practice and picked him up. We got lunch together. We had an early lunch. And now he's gone play with his friends. And I'm online for a bit because it's only 12:37 here, so I'm gonna find the I washed some clothes today too, so I gotta take all the stuff out of the dryer, you know, and fold that, and then I need to clean my apartment. I need to go upstairs and wash all my towels, and I need to sweep and mop everything. That's what I need to do today. I'm gonna give Diamond a bath because it's really, really sunny and hot outside. So I like to bath her when it's sunny and hot so she dries quickly. She doesn't know it yet, but she's about to get the bath. Right now, she's just sprawled out on the tile because it's hot outside. It's like super hot outside today. Today is like the sunniest day of the month so far. But there's a nice breeze outside. I'm gonna wait a few more minutes and then I'll probably go out there and give her a bath. She needs one. I'm gonna give her a bath and then I can leave her outside to dry and I can clean my apartment while she's out of here. That's my plan, but whether or not it happens, I don't know. All right, Monique, thanks for the super chat. You said, do I have to worry about, let's see. I would say no. You don't have to worry about her doing that because she's probably going to refuse to do it anyway. And I think that I don't see no woman here in the cards, and I don't see her wanting to do that, and I don't see this person even thinking about doing that. They don't even want that responsibility or that, because they know they would have to sacrifice their time, and they're not going to sacrifice their time for someone else's kids. I don't get none of that here. I just get their father being a father to the kids, to a certain point, and nothing to do with her. She doesn't even show up here. So, but I'm getting no anyway. I feel like this person would have to, like, they know that they don't want to change their life. They like their life the way it is. And for them to take care of your kids or be a stepmother to your kids is a no-no in this person's mind. I don't even think they like kids like that, especially young kids. So, and I don't think the kids would even want to be with her anyway, because it says to me that if there's a young boy, then I would say he definitely doesn't want to deal with that. But either way, to answer your question, I would say hell no. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people ain't gonna really worry about that. They ain't nothing to do with them. They don't want nothing to do with that. And you can go against that if you want anyway, if you were to do it. You can control who your kids are around anyway. Yeah. I got a young boy saying no. So, but either way, you don't have to worry about that. To be a stepmom or a stepdad is a huge responsibility because it's like being even a cautious parent because the kids don't belong to you. So if anything happens to them in your care, you're gonna get critiqued and fucked off till no end. So a lot of people don't want to be stepmoms and stepdads to kids. They don't want that. That's like an uncle and an aunt. If you're taking like me, when I take care of my nephews, I pray to God every day that nothing happens in when they're in my care because then people are gonna say, "Oh well, where the fuck was Mark? Mark did this. Mark wasn't there taking care of him." Blah blah blah. You know. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? I can't control what the hell they're doing when I'm not around. That's their problem. You think I'm gonna be around them all day? Now, when they're young, of course I'm gonna take care of them. But now they're old enough now. They can deal with themselves. Yeah, exactly. So that's why they don't want that responsibility. A lot of people don't want that. I don't. I don't want to be somebody's stepdaddy. Hell no. Fuck that. You ain't calling me stepdad. No, no. I'll be called uncle, and that's it, because that's what I am the best at. I'm the best uncle that you can have. And that's it. I'm not a dad, and if I was, I'll be dealing with my children, not nobody else's. And that's one of the reasons why I probably do not want to be involved with a woman with kids because getting yourself involved with that, you have to deal with the baby daddy. You have to deal with the baby daddy's family. You have to deal with, oh, this ain't your children. Don't you think you're talking to my, children that way? And blah. It all depends on the situation. You know what I mean? It all depends on the situation. So if those kids if you become a stepmom or a stepdad and those kids are not, they don't like their original parent or parents, and they kid and you become their stepmom and like almost real mom, technically, or real dad, then that's different, like, you know what I mean? It's like me right now. I'm like a father to both of my youngest nephews because their father abandoned them. You see what I mean? So I'm like a father to my nephews, but technically, I'm more of their uncle because they don't want to look at me as their dad, Because I've been their uncle all this time, and it will be forever. But see, I don't have to be a father to them because they're old enough now. They're 16 and going 18. Both of them. I've been with them from day one, since the day they were born. I've done more for them than their own father has, a million times more. So I'm not trying to be nobody's daddy. I'm just being the uncle that I can always be, and be a mentor to them, and be an idol to them, and be somebody they can always depend on. But, you know, at the same time, I'm not going to beat the shit out of them like their dad would, or scold them like their dad would. I just walk away and say, you'll learn eventually. Because none of my uncles ever had to fuck me off or hit me or anything like that. So I'm going to be that same type of uncle that I grew up having an uncle, around me like that. None of my uncles were ever like a father figure, but I have like two uncles that were amazing to me and always did everything for me and gave me things and stuff like that, and helped me in life and showed me how to do things like I do for my nephews. And I want to be the best and uncle I can possibly be. Mystical, you say you was a stepmom for 29 years. Holy shit. Well, as long as you were a good stepmom and you did your part, that's all that matters. And I'm sure they liked you know. But see, some people have like, hey Tanya, good morning, how you doing? Some people have no choice, because sometimes their parent dies, their other parent remarries, and you become the stepmother, stepfather, and you end up becoming the real mother to that child. I was discussing this the other day, that you can imagine like having a child. Well, this is actually a true story. There's a guy here that I know of. I don't know him personally, but I know of him. Um, he married a woman that already had a 2 year old baby. He got her pregnant and had, like, another baby with her, right? So, and about, I would say, after the baby was like maybe 6 7 months, something like that, she went on her motorcycle to work one morning, and a driver under the influence of drugs hit her and killed her on her motorcycle. And he started drinking, and his whole life was ruined, because the baby daddy of the first one was a deadbeat dad and didn't want nothing to do with the child, and he was taking care of that child and taking care of his newborn. So now that newborn child is never going to see never really knew their mother. After 6 7 months, you see the person, but you're not, your brain isn't registered like that. So now that kid's got to grow up. Both of those kids got to grow up without a mother. And this is a true story. This is what happened to this guy a couple years ago. So, say if this guy, right? I don't know how he's doing, but I hope God helped him. 'Cause that's a rough situation to be in for a man, and for anybody really. But as a guy, I would never want to be in that predicament. Like, what I'm saying, that's fucked up. You gotta live with that for the rest of your life. It's kind of shitty. But I'm sure, I hope that he's doing okay, and I would love to hear if he is doing okay. But either way, if that guy were to get married right now to another woman, and that woman becomes those kids' mother, like stepmother, but becomes their mother, and that's the only mother they know, they won't even know the difference because they're too young, you know? So a person who takes that role, I have great admiration for them. And I know a lot of people that have come in here and are like orphans, or had their parents die at an early age and didn't really know them. There's a lot of, that's why I tell people it don't make sense complaining about life sometimes, about little petty shit that goes on in your life, because there's people out there who are never going to see their parents ever again and never even knew who they was. There's a lot of women who give birth, they save the baby and they die, or vice versa. It's still a bad situation and a heartbreaking situation to deal with. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people out there who really don't understand life until it actually hits them in the face. That's good. I'm glad you guys got on amazingly. That's good. Because not too many people want that, you know. They don't want to have like another. I know for sure that if my youngest sister or my brother got involved with another, partner again, that their kids will be different. They would accept them, but it'll never be the same. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm sure they would like them better than their original parents because the original parents disowned them. You know what I'm saying? So that's different. Hey, Marty. Good morning. How you doing? So that's the thing. Like and a lot of people that are not step parents or stepmothers and fathers, you know what? They get brought up by their grandparents or their aunties and uncles. Their own siblings have end up being taking care of them. You know, there's a guy that graduated. He's 18 years old, and his sister is 4 years old or 4 years old, right? So they're like 14 years apart. And if he was walking around with his little sister, they would think that that's his kid, you know. But it isn't, obviously. But that's how crazy life is. You can have like babies, 14 years apart, long lot of years apart, so it happens. Because my brother's 57, right? Yeah, my brother's 57, and my youngest sister's 44. So my mom had, you know had my sister for 13 years later. And we all got brought up by my mom. And my dad was always working. We only saw him on the weekend. And then there's a lot of people that I know that, their grandparents raised them. Like my mom, she raised all her grandchildren. She raised them all right up until they went to nursery. And then my oldest sister and my oldest brother will always dump their children to my mom's house because their in-laws were like, no, no, we've already had our children. We ain't taking care of yours. Meanwhile, my mom's like, I'm having more kids than all you mofos, and you want me to take care of your kids too? And I used to tell my mom, don't take care of them damn kids. They can take care of them or go get a fucking babysitter or go tell their in-laws take care of. Oh, I love my grandchildren. If I don't do it, they're gonna talk. I said, man, fuck them. Don't do that shit. And my mom kept doing it like an idiot. And I told my mom, don't do that shit. So the two youngest ones that live next door to me, I used to babysit them, right? Because that's all they only wanted to be around me. They didn't even want to go to their grandparents' house. And my mom used to get mad. Oh, they should come here. I'll take care of them. I said, Mom, you took care of the other four. I'll take care of these guys. They're literally right next door. Right? I said, look, before my sister and her husband go out, these kids are bath. They're in their pajamas. They're in their little onesies and shit. And they're ready. They're gonna be chilling with me, watching bullshit cartoons or SpongeBob or some bullshit. I didn't really have to like stress myself over. And then if they were to like play around, this is after the diaper stage, like you know what I mean? And I've changed diapers before, and I put them all to bed, talk shit to them. They would always the oldest one always used to want me to read funny stories or tell them a funny story before I go to sleep. Because I'm a guy, I have a lot of stories. I can tell stories all damn day. So they used to always ask me to tell stories about my life when I was their age. And so then they would fall asleep and then boom. So I really didn't have like I didn't want my mom to continue to take care of her the two youngest ones, because she had already took care of the older four. So because they were next to me, I just said, "Fuck it, I want to take care of." 'Em." And they were like, my sister would say, "Oh, I want to take I want to take you guys to your grandma and grandpa's house." They're like, "No, no, we want to stay here with Uncle Mark. Please, we don't want to go nowhere. We want to stay home." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take care of you guys. Cool." And then sometimes they used to come here, and I would bring them over next door, and we would sit on my couch, and we would watch like the game together. And then when my team's winning, they're like, "Yeah, yeah." We all jump around like a bunch of idiots and shit. We had so much fun. Like I raised these boys that live next to me. I raised these guys more than their dad. I spent more time with them than their own father because he didn't care. He didn't want to deal with those kids. He hated the fact that he had to. If my sister had to go somewhere and he had to take care of those kids, they would run over to my apartment. They would call me from the house phone. They would call me. The oldest one, he was a slick little fucker. He used to call me, "Uncle Mark." I was like, "What you doing on the phone?" He goes, "Oh, it's got your number here. I dialed your number. Look, Daddy's in the bathroom, and we want to come over to your house because he doesn't play with us." And I'm like, "All right, you can come over. Tell Daddy that you're coming over here." All right, cool. So then he'll like call me and say, "Oh, these guys said they're coming over there." I say, "Yeah, they can come over here. That's cool." Because I knew they didn't want to be with him. And that's why they don't give a shit about him now. Because he never cared about those children, which baffles my mind all the time, you know? And that's why I get mad at people, because there's so many women out there who can't have kids and so many men who wish they could have kids, and you have them and don't give a fuck about them. That shit aggravates the hell out of me. So I think God put me in the predicament where he says, "Well, you're not gonna have any kids right now. Maybe one day or maybe in the future. And if you don't, you always have these as your kids." So I consider all six of my nephews, especially the two youngest that I live next to, like my kids, and because I helped raise all of them, and I've taught all of them how to do things, and they all love sports because of me. They all go after the same. They all go for the same teams as me, and they all want to. They wear hats like me and act like me. So it's okay. I don't need kids in order to know how to deal with them, because I helped raise my nephews, and the last 3 years has been very difficult for the two youngest ones because their dad left here and don't give a fuck about them. So they have me and my sister, and that's all that matters. And they're a lot happier now than they ever been, and so is my sister, and so am I. When the devil leaves your house, it's a lot better. All right, thanks for the super chat, Monique. You said, "Will ever become Fisher this meeting? Will they ever meet?" I would say no. They're not gonna be official anytime soon, and I don't think they will be. Um, Honestly, I feel like she doesn't show up again here. So when this woman doesn't show up in the reading, it means that she does not want this to be an official thing. Now he is upright, so it's saying more like he might want to, but then again, if he does, he knows it's going to be disappointing. It's going to cause a lot of unhappiness. It's going to cause, his it's gonna cost him more if he does that, right? And also he knows that it's gonna cost him more setbacks financially if he does this. Because you got to think about it this way: if he makes it public, right, between him and her, if he were to do that like in the next 6 months, he's gonna look super guilty, and the courts are gonna run everything in your favor if you get a divorce because he's proven that he's cheating and with another woman. You know what I mean? That'll be like putting out evidence out there and fucking yourself. So I think that she's like, hell no. I think it's more her telling him, I'm not going to make nothing public with you because I don't want to look like the homewrecker. And he's like, well, I don't want to do it either. And I think the best thing to do is not to do this. You see what I mean? Because any a dumbass would do something like that. And for me to get this card about setbacks and spending too much money and being in suspense about money. So if he's not financially stable, then I would say he'll definitely not do that because, you know, yeah. But she doesn't even show up. So you're asking about her, but she doesn't show up. And when somebody like that doesn't show up, it means that there's nothing there. There's no love connection. It's just sex, probably. Some people can have sex all the time and not love each other. They just love to have sex with each other. My auntie always said, she passed away a couple years ago, but my auntie always said that a hoe has the best life in the world. They get D, they get money, they get materialistic things, and they have no responsibilities. She's right. You're saying she's been texting for him to our kids. Well, that's evidence right there, too. So that's like pretty much exposing yourself. So if he's got his mistress texting your kids, you can use that against him. You can say, yeah, your fucking side piece is texting our kids. Here's all the texts. You know? So you're definitely fucked. So make sure you screenshot all that stuff so you can use it against him. That's what happened with my that's what happened to my sister's divorce. Soon as they separated, soon as she separated with him, he made it known to everybody he was with another woman. And everybody said that was already in the making. Either that or he like said, yeah, I'm gonna try and get with this first random hoe I see. And it's a convenience because we work together and I'm gonna show everybody like I don't need my soon to be ex-wife. And then that shit backfired on him. Because with all that evidence, he made his life worse. He pretty much, ate his own words and made himself look dumb as shit. Because some people are dumb. They just do dumbass shit. But in his case, he came from a rich family and he had the money, so he didn't care. See, so whatever he's paying now and has been paying for those kids, he don't care because the money's not even really his. His family business pays for everything. And that's why he didn't give a shit because he knew that it wasn't his hard earned money coming out of his pocket. Yeah. Well, some people get to the point where they slip up and they get caught, right? But there's a saying that men say: if you take care of home first, then you don't have to worry about your side piece. So if he took care of home first and then he started slipping up, that means he wasn't taking care of home first. Because if you take care of home first, then you won't have nothing to be suspicious of. So some men are really good at it, and women. They're good at taking care of two people at the same time. So it doesn't seem like a suspicious situation going on. But with all the technology we have today, we should always use it no matter what. Because the only way you're going to build trust in an untrustworthy world that we live in today is to actually be your own private investigator. And that's why in one of my decks it says investigate the person you're dealing with. And that's probably what I would do if I was in a predicament, you know? What I would do personally, if I had a woman that I was with for a while, right? If I was with a woman for a long time and I kind of felt like she was like keeping something from me and I wanted to clear my mind of that, what I would do is I would get one of those tracking devices and I'll put that tracking device on her car or whatever she's on and I'll make sure I know where she is. I'll do it for like a month and I'll find out where she is. And if I see her in places that I kind of suspicious of, I'll do my own private investigation. And if I see her come out of the room with some fucking guy or whatever, then I know she's cheating and I'll confront her. My cousin did it. That's how he caught his wife. He put a tracking device on the car. She said I was going to work. Meanwhile, the guy was giving her money, right, to make up for the what she said she was going to work. And he was like, okay, cool. See you when you get back. So he trusted her because he was with her for a couple years already. She took the car, went to see this guy every night. Instead of working, she was letting her coochie be worked, and he was paying for it indirectly just so she could bring the money home and say that she was working that night cleaning some fucking bullshit office or something. So then he got suspicious. He put a tracker on her car. Then he found out where she was. He followed the track. He hid in these trees. Look, watched her come outside kissing the guy. He showed me him taking pictures of her kissing the guy and hugging the guy. He says it took a lot for him not to go and do something. But then he says, it's not the guy's fault. She probably lied to him too. So he, confronted her, showed her, got a divorce, and sent her packing. And now he got remarried to another hoe. He's gonna be using that same tracking device soon too. Some people never learn. I hope not for his case, but I have a feeling that's probably what's gonna happen. And I keep telling people you can't make a hoe into a housewife or a house husband. You can't change a hoe. It don't work. A hoe is gonna be a hoe forever. Even if they hang up their boots and say, "Nah, I'm not gonna cheat," they're gonna get that urge one day when you argue with them or you tell them something. Or you could be a widow, you know, or a Leo, or a Virgo. But that's the thing. There's so much technology now that you will always know where that person is. You see what I mean? So that's why I say what I say on here because I'd rather be single for the rest of my life than to be a private investigator for my own wife or my own like baby mama or my girlfriend. That's some bullshit, man. If I have to do that, that means that I'm not confident in the person I'm with's trust. But the only way I'm gonna completely trust her is if I put that tracking device on her shit without her knowing. And then seeing that she's really trustworthy and she's not going nowhere. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. Like sometimes you need that extra trust factor So just imagine if I did that, right? Or you do that. You know, you're with somebody for like 2 years and then you got married, then you have a child. And all of a sudden the person starts to act a little weird, like, like you're still having sex, but it's not the same, or the person's just acting suspicious or going places or whatever. And you put a tracking device and you come to find out they're not really doing anything. So that's going to make me love that person even more and trust that person even more. But I'm going to keep the tracking device on there until, it gets found or whatever. But I'm going to make sure it's on there, or we're going to have a location thing, you know. But I'll take both just in case she wants to put her phone somewhere else in the car somewhere else. You never know. You can never like stop. Your trust can never be completely 100% because it changes from one day to the next. All it takes is that one moment, that 1 second, that 1 minute where somebody, you say to your wife or whatever, or you say to your husband, "Oh, what's for dinner tonight?" "Oh, I don't know." "What do you mean you don't know? You've been home all day. I thought you were preparing dinner." "Well, sweetheart, I was in the garage doing this and doing that." "Oh, well, you could have told me." And then you start fucking each other off, right? And then, "You know what? Fuck you. I'm getting my own dinner. I'm out of here." And then that person calls that guy that hit her up at the mall or at her job and said, "Hey, baby, you're looking good. Oh, you got a man? Oh, well, if your man acts up, just call me." And that rage built up in that 1 second, 2 seconds. You call that guy, "Yeah, my husband's a fucking asshole. Where you at right now?" And then you start talking shit, and then you fuck this guy, and you realize you made a mistake, but it's too late. But guess who's got the tracker on you? And I say, "Yeah, where the fuck did you go?" "Oh, you're lying to me because I know you went here, and there, and whatever." And then in the end, that's it. And all because of an argument over dinner, your whole life is fucked. See what I mean? Right. See? But see that's common courtesy. That's like that's something that he wants to make sure you're home in time for dinner so that way it's not cold when you get there or he knows. I do that now with my sister. Like she'll be like, "Oh, what time you gonna do dinner?" And like last night, I knew she was gonna get home like quarter to seven around that from work. So I started dinner at like 7, and then it was ready at almost before 8. And she was like, "Yeah, I'm not that hungry, but it's cool. We guys will do it." And she had to take her son somewhere or whatever. So then when she came back, we guys ate dinner. Bang, it was done. So that way everything's done. It's just common courtesy. I would want somebody to do that for me too. So if I have a housewife and she's like, "Oh, babe, are you coming home?" I say, "Yeah, I'm running late, but I'll be there in like 25 minutes." "All right, I'm gonna start dinner now." "All right, honey. Love you too, bud." So when I get home, dinner's already looking good, and boom, we're gonna sit down. That's a good wife, you know, or a good husband, whichever you have. But see, people don't give a fuck about that. They don't have common courtesy and they don't care about people like that. And some people just don't care about being good to their significant other or even their boyfriend or girlfriend, man. It's sad. Yeah. But that's the thing. My sister, she used to be all the above. She used to be a great wife. Um, she worked. She picked up the kids. She dealt with the kids all the time. And that bastard, he never did anything. He got up in the morning, smoked a cigarette, drank coffee, went straight to work. He never said, "You know what? I don't have to go work this early. I can help my wife with the kids and even go with them to go take the kids to nursery or to school." He even on his day off, he never wanted nothing to do with like taking care of those kids. And I told my sister, "If you think that this life is great, you got a next thing come." "Oh, well, this and that and that." I said, "Okay, you'll see." And I was right the whole time. I knew they were gonna get a divorce eventually. Because my sister ain't gonna put up with that bullshit. She got to the point where she had enough. And see, when the kids reach a certain age, they started to tell her, you need to get rid of this guy. He's a nuisance. Like, he's a piece of shit. And then all of a sudden, bang. When she called me that day and said it's over, we hung out for the rest of the day. And I told her, I said, you're making the best decision of your life. Trust me. And after now, it's been like this December will be 3 years that she got rid of. And she's probably happier now than I've ever seen her in my life. So that's why, like, I know that divorce can be bad and it can be good. So it's a part of life, it happens to all of us. Well, not me, but I never been married, so I don't have to get divorced. But if I got married one day and I had to get a divorce for some tragic, reason, and I call it that because I would always be loyal in a marriage. I can't see myself ever doing something to destroy my marriage. I would never be that stupid because I wouldn't be able to live with myself and my own conscience, you know, especially if I had kids or something, like. So I'd be like, oh, hell no. I would never do that. It would always, I would, if I were to ever get a divorce one day, if I was married, it would always be the other person's fault. That's for sure. Because I will always put in 110%. And, you know, some people think like that and do that, but it's still not like guaranteed. Because you could be with somebody for 20 years plus and then finally get a divorce because you had enough of that person. To me, a marriage is something that should be worked on constantly. It's a full-time job. It's a full-time commitment. You should never like give up and you should always find a way to compromise with each other to make something, better. It shouldn't be a piece of paper to many people. And it shouldn't be a way to get out of a relationship either. Or it shouldn't be, oh yeah, I'm gonna take them for everything they got, and I'm gonna be rich. And then you're gonna die with nothing. So some of these stupid women out there, in particular women, they will get a divorce and they're the ones who get everything. So the man gets fucked majority of the time. Some of them deserve it. Like my ex brother in law, he deserved to get fucked because he tried to destroy our lives and he did everything. He lied like crazy. That's why he went through 3 lawyers, and even his third lawyer, all his lawyers dissed him, and his third lawyer is like just dealing with him because she wants the money, and he's dumb enough to pay her, and she's just like, I don't give a fuck. He could be dumb all he wants. I'm getting money off this dumbass. And that's the thing. Some people are never gonna change. You can complain about somebody. You can tell somebody blue in the face, don't do this. I think you should do that. Hey, when you come here, you don't do this, don't. And people would just let it go right over their head and say, "Fuck you. I don't care what you think." Even if that person's in your space, and you've told them to respect your space, they don't care. Nobody's ever gonna really change. That's why when they don't change, you change. You say, fuck you, I'm done. You have to change. Because that person don't change, you change how you deal with that person. And that's what I've learned over the past 10 years. Is anybody who aggravates me or disrespects me or doesn't do what I'm telling them to do and they're in my presence, then fuck you. That's how I look at it now. And if you keep trying me, then that's what's gonna probably happen. That's it. And then when you deal with me and there's no answer is your answer, then you'll know. But some people never learn. Some people are just so ignorant. They would just never really realize what they're doing to themselves or doing to other people because they honestly feel like they don't do anything wrong, that they're always innocent. But I was just, but I was just. You were just being a dickhead and you knew it. And then when you get called out on it, then you like, oh well, I didn't mean it. Yeah. Yes, you did. You're just being a weirdo. And goodbye. Smell you later. Go rot in hell somewhere and leave me the fuck alone. But if everybody was like me in that aspect, then a lot of more people will have more, uh, less stress in their life. And then you can also be like, you know what? If you're benefiting it off their stupidity, then you can use that against them. And that's what I do sometimes. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be your karma. I'll never forget that post that I saw on TikTok of that girl. She said, I'm gonna be your plate of karma. Then I said, you know what? I never really thought about it like that, but I'm gonna be people's plate of karma. The plate's gonna say, Marky is your karma. You're gonna be like, but how? You'll realize it one day. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. Because if you go blue in the face telling people shit and they don't do it, or they still disrespect you, or you still have them hang around after you've told them numerous times to do certain things or be a certain way, and you have problems in your committed relationship or friendship, then you have to make the decision to deal with them and get rid of them. It's that simple. But some people don't have the balls to do it, unfortunately. They're like, no, it's okay. I'll hold on. No, it's okay. I'll be all right. No, it's okay. They didn't mean it. All right. Then when you stress, then when one day when you're mad, you're gonna take it all. You're gonna take all your frustrations out on that person. Not my problem. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. It wasn't me. I'm gonna write down shit before I forget. One sec. Mm, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna have for dinner tonight. Sick and tired of making food. I don't know. I might have takeout tonight. Or I might have like a burger or something on the barbecue. I don't know what I feel like today. I really don't. For lunch, me and my nephew had lunch together today. He said to me when I bring him home from volleyball practice, it was like 11 o'clock. And then he says, you want to have a breakfast and lunch all together? I'm like, yeah, I guess. He's like, what are you thinking about? He goes, I want a croissant with fried egg, cheese, and bacon and mayonnaise. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. He goes, and let's split a order of fries. I'm like, all right. Yeah, why not? Fuck it. So I called in the order. I went down the hill and picked it up on the bike. We came back. We ate lunch together, breakfast, lunch together. And then I said, what do you want for dinner? He goes, we can go to the same place and mom says she wants to have takeout tonight. So I was like, well, that sounds good. I don't want to cook anyway because I cooked last night. Last night I made pork ribs. I boiled the ribs first, and then I put them on the barbecue for a couple minutes with some barbecue sauce. I had rice and I had broccoli. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. So, but I want to do something tonight, but I just don't know what the fuck to eat. Tomorrow I want to have lobster, but I have to see if my sister's gonna be home. But she says she's gonna hang out with her friend tomorrow, so I don't know what they're doing for dinner, but we'll see. I have to see what's going on. I have no idea. I feel like a bacon cheeseburger on the barbecue. That's what I feel like with some salad or something. I don't, I don't know what the fuck I want. I have to see. So I'm trying to think what else I need. Yeah, that's what I need. Um, I got milk. There was something else I needed, but I can't remember. Anyway, I'll think about it and see what I can do. Oh, that's what I need. That's right. That's what I needed. I knew it. I knew I'll remember. I actually need to go deal with that now. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to go sweep and mop my apartment and I'm going to go wash Diamond's bum. Diamond, you ready for your bath? It's time to bath you. You're starting to smell like a stinky dog, so I'm going to have to bath your ass. It's nice and sunny outside so you can go sunbathe and dry up. You don't know it yet, but you're about to get a nice bath. It's time to bath your dirty ass. All right, guys, I'll see you later on. I'll be back later.